At last, the greatest album of love songs ever recorded. You'll want to share them with someone special.
Why do birds suddenly appear?
Sung by the man who turned a personal affliction into a recording career, Don No Soul Simmons.
Just like me, they long to be close to you. Why do stars fall down from the sky every time you walk by? Just like me, they long to be close to you. She'd been sitting there and
So curl up by the fireside and listen to the non-threatening music of this master showman.
And honey, I miss you. And I'm being good. And I'd love to be with you. If only I could. Say, has anybody seen my sweet gypsy rose? Here's her picture when she was my sweet man.
Young lovers of any age will cherish this timeless collection of the world's most romantic ballads. And if you act now, you'll get free this bonus album, Don Simmons Down and Funky.
Jeremiah was a bullfrog, was a good friend of mine. Never understood a single word he said.
This two-record collection is not available in any stores, so order now.
Yes, he always had some mighty fine wine.
Aaron Sparrow here. You may know me as the writer of Darkwing Duck or Death Rage or the upcoming Kneel Before Doomface. And I just want to go ahead and tell you right now that Fantastic Comics is the greatest comic shop to ever exist in the history of this universe or any other universe.
Eat!
They took me off into a separate room. I seen them taking different people off, different ones of us off in separate rooms. And they put me on a big white table. And the guy that to take me there, the one of them that took me in there to examine me, I guess, he probed me. And then I was in there, I bet more than 3 or 4 hours in that room of being probed. And at one time or another, there's different ones of them come in, 4, 5, 6 of them at different times, and all of them probed me. Not all at once, you know, individually. Later on, years later, now even still, it's a funny thing. It happened on a Sunday, and every Sunday, about the time that I was taken on board that ship, I find I have no feelings in my buttocks.
German has the only presents I want. Guns! Guns, so that the name of El Guapo will be hanging on everyone's lips.
He will be here, Guapo. But I think you will like your other presents, too. I have put many beautiful piñatas in the storeroom, each of them filled with little surprises.
Many piñatas?
Oh, yes, many.
Would you say I have a plethora of piñatas?
A what?
A plethora.
Oh, yes. You have a plethora.
Jefe, what is a plethora?
Why, Guapo?
Well, you told me I have a plethora. And I just would like to know if you know what a plethora is. I would not like to think that a person would tell someone he has a plethora and find out that that person has no idea what it means to have a plethora.
If I were to guess, I'd say maybe I don't want to socialize with the pinko liberal Democrat commie. You may think it's patriotic to dissent and Maybe it is. Sometimes. But to sue the army at a time of war is not patriotic. It borders on treason. And I'm disgusted with you. And just so you know, most of the Democrats voted for this war. John Kerry voted for it. Hillary Clinton voted for it. And now suddenly it becomes unpopular. Say what you will about Republicans. We stick to our convictions, even when we know we're dead wrong.
Some might say especially then.
Andy Warhol and John Waters, in conjunction with Saliva Productions, present Jim Barrie's beloved children's classic, Peter Pan.
I think I see him.
No, that's just a cloud.
No, it's not. It's Peter.
I'm flying. Look at me way up high, suddenly here am I, I'm flying.
Yes, it's Divine, starring as the boy who wouldn't grow up.
I won't grow up.
I won't grow up.
I don't want to go to school.
I don't want to go to school.
Just to learn to be a parrot.
Just to learn to be a parrot.
And recite a silly rule.
And recite a silly rule. With high chest, just watch this chorus steps.
Originally settled as Ocean View during the 1850s, the city's population boomed with displaced
But in my own way, I am king. Hail to the king, baby.
Hello out there. Welcome to Fantastic Comics Presents, the first episode of the new year. Boy, did I make mistakes at the last episode. I could have got 2 times I could have celebrated the new year kicking in. But I decided to end like 5 minutes early. I just thought I had bored you enough, and I should probably get off. Ooh, that sounds bad. Don't clip that. Welcome. Thank you for joining us live. Thank you for joining us after. Please consider giving us a thumbs up and maybe comment after the fact. And if you're in chat right now, say hi. If you have something you want to ask, write question in bold or in caps, and then type your question. Maybe I'll get to it. Oh, we all know I will. Well, sometimes I run over stuff. Actually, I am on the YouTube account for Fantastic Comics right now, and there are some comments, and I'm going to read those in just a second. Once again, thanks for joining us. For those of you that are new here and don't know what's going on, we talk about comics here.
My name is Yule Carter, comic book retailer in Berkeley, California.
That's right. This guy right here is a Dodger fan. In Berkeley, California, the store exists. I do not live in Berkeley, California, but I have a lot of comics here also. And it's way more comfortable to be in this chair and in this home rather than that store so many hours after we would have closed should this not have been a Tuesday or a Monday. We're closed those days, so don't even think about get in touch with me. But, yeah, maybe we need to meet up or something. We can have like, I can buy some comics maybe from you. Maybe that might have to happen, or maybe I'll come to you. But I don't go over bridges too often. Yeah, so we're open Wednesday through Sunday, 12 to 5 p.m. There are some days that I'm going to have to be closed a little early. This Thursday, possibly. And no. Although I am a very big fan, it's not because of the former president having passed, my namesake. I've heard it many a time. The 70s were hard. But I later in life, it's good. It's good armor. And not only that, it's a compliment in my world. So, yeah. What's this new year? New what? I don't know. New year, new what? New year, new feud? Well, or it's a continuation from the other. If it was a feud, of course it's not. But we're going to talk about Rob Liefeld right now, because who doesn't want to talk about Rob Liefeld? Just a couple of weeks ago, Time Slide came out. Let me get that picture up for you. And Time Slide, let me just turn this off for symmetry. Time Slide is Marvel every once in a while. Usually it's annually, but they might have skipped when they were doing that Kang storyline, and he would like have this story. I forget what it was called, Time something. But anyway, we got Cable and Bishop instead of Kang, and there's all sorts of fun. And when I took the banner down, I realized, oh darn, it's a Steve Fox book, and Steve Fox is kind of derided on the internet from people that make mention of him. Not the fans, mind you. The I don't know what former fans, are they anti-fans? But even sometimes store customers. So when that happens, it's a double whammy. And if I don't read it, I don't care. But I do care when Rob Liefeld comes out and says, "Did you get this variant?" And I'm like, a variant of yours so that someone can, buy 50 copies and have 40 left on the shelf just so I could get this one crappy cover. And even if I don't think it's crappy, I'm going to call it crappy unless I wanted it for myself. And I did not. That's pretty hot, right? Yikes. I'm having a sip right now. Well, I just had a comment on his next post concerning this comic, and he was like, hey, by popular demand, I'll have the new X-Force edition omnibuses and a few of my Time Slide variants on my live stream tomorrow night. And he's talking about Whatnot. Whatnot's you got some comics, some trash that you want to throw out because you haven't done it on Instagram or YouTube or eBay. And you're going to be like, fuck the store. Sorry to use that profanity. But that's not me saying it. That's what Rob Liefeld's saying it. Or maybe not using those words. But that's exactly how I look at it. But it's Rob Liefeld. But then he's like, oh, it's really hard for stores and they really let you down by not getting the shitty book. And I'm like, what? So my comment to this is, I wonder who predicted that. And if it wasn't me, it was one of you. But either way, I said it. Rob Liefeld, man. Let's go to comments from last week. Epidoxa says, you're right on with Liefeld and McFarlane. I was really, baby. I thought I was pretty bad when it came to, not bad, but especially since I'm kind of a fan anyway. But, you can't diss the stores for having to, go after these books. Not unless I knew for a fact. Not unless Fantinuum wanted that book. And if he wanted that book, it was going to cost a lot of money because I'm going to add all those books that I'm going to be sitting on just to get that. Maybe he'll get a deal on it, Still going to be bigger than normal. Way bigger than normal. But that's how Rob Liefeld likes it, right? I gotta make some YouTube shorts off this. There's some other stuff that's going on right now. I'm gonna actually share my screen. Let me just so I can pick my nose while I do this. I got an X alert. Who was that? Hold on a second. You know what? Let's go. I got a couple more to read before we get there. Illithidor said, this last issue of Ultimate Spider-Man was about as well-written a slice of life Western monthly comic can be, but with minimal action. The book is walking a fine line to stay on my buy list. Man, I feel like that's so many great compliments. And yet, it's still on the chopping block, man. You know what I mean? But with minimal action, the book is walking a fine line. Blah. Okay, to stay on the list. Hickman can't slouch when he's relying on dialogue like this, like he did in X-Men. I hear what you're saying, but I think he's a little bit more invested, and nobody's really screwing around with what he's doing in quite the same way it was then. And when you had a vision, and even if it was because of other people or it didn't live up to your expectations, especially as you're doing it, maybe editorially. I mean, we've seen many a time when editorially stuff screws up, stuff like that. But yeah, there you go. And then Imagination Inc. I don't even know who this is. Said, what the hell is this? Is this a podcast about Ed Piskor? So far, I've seen nothing but 10 minutes of unrelated clips. It's a lot. I'm going to have to respond and let this person know that this is a live show. And the 10 minutes is so you can get done with seeing who the other people are and what they're yammering on about, so that you can decide to finally come on over here. If that is the case, you should really go and tell your friends out there that this is the place to be live. And maybe I have a clip you haven't seen before, and you'll go and experience that for yourself. And seriously, if you haven't seen Mr. Show before, I mean, because it's been a long time since it came out, and the people that did that are way old, and someone's famous within the group. And there's other guest stars. Some of them are famous in the group. Some are in jail, but I'm sure they'll be pardoned anytime soon now, right? Or maybe they're not in jail. The Ed Piskor bit was the week after something happened, which we will get to. I don't really. So Ed Piskor ended his life last year on April Fool's Day, or that's when it was announced, which is exactly what I would have done if I was trying to put something over on someone. I didn't see any pictures, but let's start the conspiracy now. I mean, if John was going to come back, you know what I mean? It's been a weird year since then. And I'm sure I'm going to examine that this year. I was totally planning on it. But I haven't really been planning on it because that's not really what I do here. And yeah, Ed Piskor. I mean, that guy was doing, I mean, the thing about it is that I felt like he was doing things that hadn't been done, and he had a reverence for the things that happened before him in a way that, I felt, growing up. He was one of us, you know what I mean? And that's a shame, just in that alone. And there were allegations, and he didn't want to hear from it. But he left a note, and it was very well written. And it was very blamey, and a lot of people don't like a lot of people on the blamey list and really believe it. But I don't know, Confessions of a Dead Man, you know what I mean? But we'll definitely talk about it. Maybe I should have my most loud friend, either in the store or on the internet, who will talk about or have something to say about it. And maybe I can have my most calm friend that has something to say about it in the same room. What do you think? Well, this room, that might be a way. If I'm going to plan it, it's going to be that. And then I'll just be prodding both of them, you know. Does that sound interesting? As far as like, I think they're just talking about the 10 minutes because I haven't gone back and watched the show, but I think I was pretty much talking about Ed Piskor and, you know, what it felt to me. I remember a lot of like the Kurt Cobain, and in comic books, he's probably like the closest version of that. And that was a big deal at one time for me. You know, and you know what are the things that take the innocence away from you, you know, and make you realize like I was in my 20s, but it's still, you know, nothing can kill me, you know. 20s. I mean, it happens. You hear about things, but nothing can kill me. Yeah, so new year, new what? Let me put this down so that you can see how to spell my name. All right, let's talk about the first segment of the day. We're all waiting for this, I know. Beware, there's going to be some Trump bashing. I mean, I felt that the Netflix debut of TKO's WWE was very well produced. And it was a big deal as far as getting it out there. And I thought they did a really great job as far as promoting it, except for one main part of the show. And forgive me for bashing on, you know, the president-elect. Oh, wait a second. I meant this guy.
Well, let me tell you something, brother.
I was joking about the Trump bit, but, you know, in the comment sections of people that were running this video from Netflix, there was a lot of people that, I mean, I was like, oh my God, I'm the most proud of an LA crowd as I ever could be. That, oh, maybe you didn't hear it. That was the TV, someone recording from their phone on the TV. This is live at the show.
And the greatest part of my life was being part of this great WWE, guys.
That's right. Hogan's getting booed vociferously. And of course, a lot of people in the comments are blaming California, which I'll accept. And talking about how he's a Trumper, came out as a big Trumper. I played a video of him ripping off his shirt for MAGA. And I played Jesse Ventura talking about wanting to vote for Harris. And, you know, we talked about it. I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I mean, this guy came out, he's sunk really, really low. I mean, he did a reality show. I mean, what, a podcast? That's like the only thing worse, right? He did a reality show. I don't watch it. I saw what he did at TNA. I saw what he did in WCW as a performer. He's to be detested. He didn't put Bret Hart over when he needed to. And Hogan even tried to kick out when the Ultimate Warrior pinned him at WrestleMania. And that whole Rock fiasco, I mean, if you look back on it, everybody's, oh, I really liked him. Blah, blah, blah. He overshone The Rock in a way that it was not supposed to be done. And you can see in the match when Shawn Michaels goes up against Hogan, he flops like a fish out of water for him. It looked comical. It looked stupid. It made Hogan look bad, like he should have been. And he's been kept strong for so long. Here's another angle. And those people were chanting Trump. I mean, Hogan. Just joking. Chant Hogan. Hogan got on who was that shock jock guy that I don't remember. Bubba the Love Sponge, right? Was that the guy's name? And he got on a tape with that dude and his wife, and he said all sorts of bad things about black folk and how they better not be hanging out with his daughter and shit. Or maybe it was just not marrying Worth. He very, very inappropriate way to speak. It was private. It's just how we kind of talk, back in the day. It's just how we grew up. And then he fucked his wife, that guy's wife. And then it got released on video, and it was like I can't remember what rag on the internet was talking about it, but then it's the same rag that outed Peter Thiel as being a homosexual, because that's a bad thing, obviously. And so he funded, it was Gawker, I think, right? Was that the name of it? Trashy, right? Like I said, attacked them because they were trying to suggest that they could put that out as, First Amendment right, free speech, news and all that stuff. And so under that premise, the news got sued and the news lost. And Peter Thiel's palling around with Trump. And this is a fucking circle that just keeps going through everything. It sucks having to watch this stuff sometimes, or wanting to. I don't really want to anymore. But I was really proud of the LA fans. They really came out because, usually California fans are really fickle and don't really want to cheer vociferously or boo properly. And this crowd was like there the whole night. Roman Reigns was awesome. Rhea Ripley was awesome. Liv Morgan was horrible. Boo! It was great. These were hot matches. They were built up for a super long time. It was a great night. But Hogan. You fans are boo. Though that one group was trying to go Trump, Hogan, but they even couldn't keep it going when he's like trying to mention the fans and gravy train on us and why we're so important. What was he there to do? No, we got a real American beer. I want a real American beer. And he's just there to shill. And the company, WWE, is like, oh, we're going to be in that. Well, that's TKO as a part of that. Oh, well, Comcast is going to be showing. USA is going to be showing, commercials for it. And anytime there's a Saturday night's main event, that'll be on NBC if anybody actually watches TV. But it'll be on the cock. And there'll be commercials in the cock when you're watching the PLEs and stuff like that. And it's just inescapable. It's just everything is so... Keep Macho Man out of your mouth. Everybody knows he hated your guts. I'm sure he was no saint, but Jesus Christ. Sell your beer. Try and sell Netflix. Netflix is getting booed while he's, mentioning their name. I'm sure that looked good with those, corporate execs that are sitting out there. Oh, boo. Netflix, boo. Netflix, boo. Netflix, boo. Yeah, I remember that. And then there's an Amy Schumer movie's coming out. So, they just can't win. But there's a Fluffy. Hopefully you've watched the Fluffy already. That's a wrestling man. That's the wrestling man. What'd you think? I know it went a little too long. I'm sorry about that. All right, let's talk about the best of last week. I didn't think I was going to actually be able to make a list, but I was looking over the stuff, and I was thinking? I made a little mistake. I forgot to talk about the new books that were coming out. I was going off so hard on Rob, and I was going so hard. Anyway, before we get to you, we'll do the segment after. Best of last week. We'll go through this fast. I hear the Batgirl's pretty cool. and it's selling all right. I mean, it's small numbers, but I want to give a little spotlight to it. So it's in the 5th. It might be a runner-up, you know, if you want to call it that. But that's a book to pay attention to. The weeks are going to be a little bit more tight as far as some of the things that are coming out, but this is a 5-issue miniseries called Cable, Love, and Chrome, and David Pepose is writing a pretty darn good story. And Mike Henderson's a competent artist. The first few pages are really cool, but it gets kind of loose towards the end. But it was still a pretty good issue, especially if you like Cable. It'll do no harm. Ultimates number 8. Well, the Ultimate books are doing pretty good, and the numbers are maintaining. And on the 8th issue, that's something to always pay attention to. It's behind me, so it's one of those cigarette books, as are the next 2. It's hard to break this this top 3 when it comes to stuff like this. We've got Absolute Superman number 3, Jason Aaron and Rafa Sandoval. Oh, that should be interesting when we get to the books for next week. We'll be talking about Batman. And the top spot is because I read it and it sells well. It's another cigarette book, and it has brand new art, or I don't know if it's a brand new artist, but I can't remember what the first name is, but Karami. Jed McKay is writing a cool Avengers book, and even if you can't understand how the Black Cat could be in the situation that she's in, it's the Black Cat, so what do you care? And if you've read his Black Cat stories in the past, then you might want to read this Avengers, because it is a fun little heist book, and there's another issue to go. And that's the best of last week. I wonder if they're having problems on StreamYard's end right now. Or maybe it's just us. You know, it's really windy out here. Maybe I'm not even... Oh, yeah, I can see myself. Excuse me while I cough. Let me just do this.
Hello. 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 Oh. Go. Look out. Hello.
I think I forgot to unmute myself that first time. It doesn't matter. I was telling you how I'm screwing up everything. I'm a little sick still. Not really sick, but you know, it's still that cough is persisting and a little bit of a runny nose type thing, but it's not even really that. It's just, I think, coupled with any allergies I have, it's just been a little difficult getting it. But Hogan always interrupting. I got to admit, it's been sticking with me, but a lot of other people have been telling me about the same situation, even on the internet. I think I got it through the internet is what it is. You know, stay off the internet for the most part, and you'll be okay. Just trying to get rid of these pictures so there will be nothing in between the new books for the week while I talk to you. So let me try that first. This should be fun. All right, let's go to comments. There's a lot of comments built up. Excellent. All right, so we're going to be talking about CGC in just a second. Fantinium, yo. 1 week in. Why not 1 week out? 1 week out from the... Wouldn't it be more like 51 weeks out if we're talking until the next year? Eric O'Sullivan, or could it be 10,080 seconds later? There you go. Jolie Pills in the other room. Hello, Elithid Laura. Oh, we already talked. Hello. How's your father? When I click, it's not coming up so easily. Spider Guy. Oh, Jogron too. Or is it Yogren too? Yogren's cool also. Dwayne Muth. Hello. I'm going to wait for that one. Man, Diamond is really a mess on the East Coast. They're still weeks behind on deliveries. And not only that, so like I didn't have Minor, the Jeff Lemire book, Minor something or another, and number 4, and I didn't get any, and we're waiting, and it's really a mess. Some reorders I get, Some reorders I don't get. Sometimes there's an invoice. Sometimes there's an invoice way later. I'm just trusting them on this, but they're screwed up, man. They're really on 10 of being this their last year in business. Illithid Laura, could please? Can I say that, please? Yule runs over like an runs over like an AEW show. Amen. Dwayne Muth, Diamond sucks. Yeah, that's right. Time slide. That's right. Time slide toilet. Let's see. I would have got it if it was a B cover. I totally agree. A B cover, and I probably would have. I mean, not only that, I know a customer would have definitely got it. But they were going to get it anyway. So they would have just got the Rob Liefeld cover. I mean, I probably wouldn't have ordered as many, and I would have just got more of that, because I know there's some people that are like, I'll get it. You know, what Rob Liefeld does is he totally gets that superhero comic lizard brain action going. You know what I mean? And if you've ever suffered from any of that superhero action, especially in comic book form, that's pretty it's pretty tempting to pick up a cover that looks like that. And you know what? I could flip through the book, but I'll have this picture, and it's pretty cool. It was selling for big money because no one ordered it, because no one reads Time Slide or Steve Fox. Right, exactly. If you still got an Ultimate Spider, yeah, I still got a copy of that. Yeah. Email me at events@fantasticcomics.net and we'll get you started. Or come in, whatever it has to be. Do I know you? Once a shill, always a shill. Thanks for nothing, Rob. Well, yeah, definitely. Hey, Yule, can you confirm Green Lantern Fractured Spectrum has been delayed this week? I can confirm it's not in my box. It would be pretty boring for me to go over to the site right now. Dwayne Muth, that's right. Ed Pisker, R.I.P. Amen. He was, I bet if you or I were in a room with Ed Piskor, you could probably have a conversation. I was telling Jill, because we were watching some Twilight Zone, and I don't know how it was for her, but I know she had cable. I didn't have cable at the same age as when she did. And not only that, my areas always seemed to not be hooked up for it, but someone just a street over seemed to be. So it was still in those days. And you had to wait till like the 4th of July Twilight Zone marathon. But the other way, unless it was like a 12 o'clock at night on Channel 5 or something like that, they might have like an hour of that before they run soupy sales. And so that's how you'd have to see it. And then you go to school the next day because you're still a kid, having watched MASH and Benny Hill and the Twilight Zone and maybe like Barnaby Jones reruns or something like that. And it's like, 2 a.m. And what are you doing up that late at night? Dad's not at home because he's working. Mom's asleep. She's got to take care of the kids. Anyway, I bet he could talk about that shit. You know what I mean? Like a Frank Miller book. And we'd talk about, the Twilight Zone. And that's how you kind of get your information about that. And I bet, he could have those conversations about those old things, I would have. There's an uneasy grumbling and complaining about Frank Miller's current style. Well, I think that's to be understood, Spider Guy. It's garbage. I liked his Deadpool on that picture, but that flat, deflator mouse, like it was from the Tick cartoon, looks stupid for Wolverine. But that's how Frank Miller's saying things, and it's geometric. And I still think his use of blacks and stuff. I think what we really need to see from Frank Miller, if you ask me, is for DC or Marvel, And I mean, ultimately, it's probably going to be Daredevil or Batman. But I would suggest, hey, do Blue Beetle. I guess Jaime Reyes or whatever the fuck his name is. And since we're going to keep that theme, let's go Ghost Rider and get Robbie Reyes, right? And have him write those books. So, like, if Marvel, you know, and those kind of characters. Or, you know what? Let's do Frank Miller's Carol Danvers. And maybe possibly have him draw the interiors of the annual once a year. So, like, maybe all his stories will be written by him. And then the culmination would be at the end of the year in an annual. Or you do the Reyes kid. Big week for WWE. Yeah, it was. I have customers, and they were texting, and I'm like, oh, I'm watching this late, so I can't really read what they have to say. But I read it after I watched the show, and it was Tiffy time, champ. Yagron, Hogan got booed out of the building. Let me tell you, I was really proud of that crowd. Undertaker had a good intro. One of those best ever, actually. And he was the American Badass. So, you know, you got a little Kid Rock action there, right? Even before, was that who it was? Or was that Limp Bizkit? Whatever. Sounds the same. Even before he endorsed Trump, I swore off trying his beer after I heard how he treated Joe Jusko. Oh, did Joe Jusko do the art for that? And he was a dick about it? I was at SummerSlam 2004 by Marcus Flopped Around. It was nuts. Yeah, awesome. That's cool. Quite a sight to see, I bet. I mean, he bounced. Oh, what Jesse Ventura would have said about him if he was Tito Santana, you know what I mean? All right. Let's see here. The old time, baby. That's right. Commander Cody, you know it. Oh, this is Lane Yule. Oh, I didn't realize that. Is it Yawgren? Or Wagren? I have a customer and I screwed up his name and I was like, yeah, and it's huh. You know who you are. Let me do this really quick. I'm going to go to the channel. This is a YouTube studio. Let's see if I can do this right. Sorry, I have to do this, everybody. This is for all the live people right now. Content live. Can I start a poll right here? Can I? Let me see. No, I think I have to go to the page to do it. Okay, I'll do that. This is just for Jim and all y'all. I think this is pretty funny. Let's see if I can figure out how to do this live. Okay. No, I don't want to do that. All right. I can't figure out how to do it. Let me just go to my channel. This is worth it. Trust me. It's totally worth it. I just got to turn my volume down now and then do a poll. All right, here it comes. Gauging with my audience, starting a poll. I watch these baseball videos, and these dudes do this, and it is a skill that I have not even tried, but there you go. There's your poll. Social D, yay or nay? Please let me know. I'm not going to vote on this one. Punk music after a certain era is, let me just I'll state a case for and a case against. Social D is pretty popular, especially in my area. I would suggest that, LA punk is probably punk that you want to listen to. And, they got some pretty good hits that people know. It's pretty poppy. But, something that a lot of people know and like, what else could you say about them? Maybe if you know the persons personally and they may not be really cool, but it's just punk rockers, so who cares, right? All right, there's your Social D4. Social D against. It's just some bubblegum shit. And East Coast is the Beast Coast. No, never works that way. Everything has to come from England, right? Oh no, I only like the Clash, right? Oh please. Oh, I guess that's a for Social D still. Lastly, like Jaguar. Ron, like a Transformer, was an old Beast Wars RP name I used in the 90s. Oh, very good. Yeah, I totally still got it, and I just haven't sent it out. And I'm sorry, last week was. See, I can bring it up whenever I want. Yeah. Thank you very much for the vote. Let's see how it's going. All right. Yes, 83%. And I guess we'll let it go for like another minute. There's only a few of you in chat that are willing to do it, and I'm not including myself. Oh yeah, punk is dead, and anything after it is ridiculous. It's neo-punk. It's neo-punk. It's noir punk. It's oh my god, it has just as many incarnations as metal, and that's ridiculous. You know what I mean? Damn, that's a lot. All right, let's end this. Closing the poll. It looks like Social D is popular. I think where I see the most, I don't really play them in the store a whole lot, but I'm not against it. And I'm sure if I wanted to learn a certain song, I have one in mind. But Red Hot Chili Peppers, they're kind of an institution anyway down there. So kind of the same thing. Proximity breeds contempt, and sometimes you don't like stuff, but when you move away from it, you're like, damn, I kind of did like that Sublime song. Oingo Boingo forever, you know what I mean? All right, this layout is just killing me. It's just throwing me off entirely. I want to say a big thank you to Joy. She's a brand new patron, and I am specifically saying hello to her. To each and every one of you that still wants to be seen, you don't want to be like this guy.
My last name is Costanza. That's Italian. So you and I are kind of like countrymen. Huh?
Paisanos!
650 your change. Ah, yes. And I always take care of my paisanos. So here's a little something.
Antonio!
Si!
Vieni qua! Questa miserabile patrona!
That's right. You can become a patron. Just follow us at Fantastic Comics. I'll let the roll go for this, and then I'll put that one up. We also have social media on Instagram that I'm paying attention to, and also over here on YouTube. And we also have a Substack, and we let you know about things that are going to be going on. This Saturday in Berkeley is the Berkeley Comic Show, where retailers from the area and outside the area, or not necessarily retailers, but also people that have collections that are willing to buy a table and show them off and bring them in. A lot of slabs there, and we're going to get to that in just a second. But yeah, follow us on our Substack, and you'll find out all sorts of information. And this Saturday, I'll be there in the early morning, and I'll be opening the store. And I'm sure I'll be buying a Spider-Man from a certain vendor or two, or something else that catches my eye. That's how I usually build new collections that I shouldn't be building in the first place, other than new comic books, you know what I mean? Because that's a thing too. All right. Let's talk about CGC. All right, now I'm going to stop my cam. Now I'm going to present the screen. I got a little bit of a hint about a video that got put up on YouTube by Swagglehoss, and you can go watch that. I didn't put a link on, but I'll try and get it to you. Excuse me. And what it was all about is this. CGC is changing their prices for slabbing comics and grading video VCRs, video games, cards, comic books, including their signature series. They're located in Florida, blah, blah, blah. And it's going to start, I guess, January 20. Or you got to get your shit in on by January 21 for the old prices. And the old prices, I don't know. They're like $20 or $15 for modern tier, probably $20. Now it's $27. Your vintage tier. So those are, the older books. I think Bronze Age falls into that. They're $42. And then you have your high value tier. And then you get charged for those. So anything that's worth more money than even just the higher tier, then they also charge 4% for the full market value, a minimum of $115. And I mean, I have always suggested that the unlimited value tier is some of the most bullshitty of the things, because as we've seen 9.8s, 9.6, 9.4s, 9.2s drastically increase in price because of grades and eBay prices that may be manipulated anyway. As we've seen that, you can change, how much you're getting for that. And I always feel like that's some bullshit. And reholdering fees. So let's say it comes to you cracked and you want to get it changed into a new holder, $25. If it's a high value book, because nothing more is going on other than you paying more for shipping and insurance. You get $75 for that. They're changing the custom label, which is like a picture. You're getting Spider-Man's done, and you're like, oh, I'm going to get the Spider-Man label on it, $8, and on and on and on, and on and on and on, and on and on and on. And our boy Swagglehoss did a video on that. And I'm going to play that video for you right now, as soon as the button works. Jesus. Here we go.
Girl Party says business as usual, and the market will be seemingly okay with that. This is the type of brand loyalty that most companies aspire to. Leave it to us comic collectors to set the bar so high. I mean, this is true. Everyone's going to continue to go back to CGC. That's just the way that it is. This is if you have a big business or you are a retailer, what else are you going to do? And the thing is like,
what's a retailer going to do? I'll tell you what a retailer is going to do.
Good.
That's right. We're going to crack a slab. That's what we're going to do. This was donated by a customer, Spider Guy. Thank you very much. Let's just put this up right here. Okay. Thank you very much for this. This is awesome. I think the idea was that that you were buying slabbed books at the lowest price possible. And you were like, this deal is just stupid, and you felt like you had to get it. Now that's good cover, and I'll support you on that claim. And way to go. And not only that, a book like this. See, the thing is what you do when you go to these shows. What you're seeing is a lot of books are being. What do I care about the? This one doesn't have a fold. What you're finding is that everything got graded. I was locked in during a pandemic, and I have comic books to grade because they're worth a lot of money because Jolt and Joe gave it to us. Wait, was it him that signed that? I'm not quite sure it went that way. Oh, whatever. I'm going to lie get in the way of a good story. A story in the way of a good lie? Is that what it is? I won't get fooled again. Slabs are stupid. Most of the things that I like about a comic book is the tactile sensation that you get from holding it. the amazement that a book is in such good condition outside of something like this is what impresses me. Wow, look at this book. It's so beautiful. I was over at a customer's house the other day and I didn't take any photography at all. And wow, what an amazing collection this person has. And I guess after 2 or 3 hours, I only scratched the surface because he has it in such a way that he's like, do you want to see it this? Do you want to see this? Do you want to see this? Now, some of the things he has are graded. These are all very, very old books, but it's not because they're graded or they're old that he has them. I mean, the reason why that he has them is because he has a certain type of collection. And that's what we do when we get older and we don't want to just buy comics all the time. Some people do want to buy comics all the time. There's nothing wrong with that. But some people will have like a certain thing. I have a customer that buys art germ covers. We all know Fantinuum buys DC covers. He also buys other things. I think it's in the other things and the very rare DC books that you might not know about that are more interesting in his in his photos. But I see them all the time. And I don't surf the net all the time. The net? Surfing? So we're going to be cracking these books right now, and I do it with a hammer. And I'm sure I took it out. Maybe not. Oh, no, I wanted this for effect. And a very, very small screwdriver. And I take this book right here. Oh, who doesn't remember that cover? Oh, yeah. Nice. Acclaim. I don't know if I played a lot of Acclaim books or games. Books. All right. Here, I'll do it this way. So what you're going to see at the conventions is a lot of stupid books being slabbed and all grades. I mean, seriously, who needs a Super Mario Brothers number 2 in a 7.0? It's the dumbest grade you can get. This is when you're at a comic store, the worst grades to sell are the really poor condition ones and the very high condition ones. People like the middle grades because those prices are you don't want a shitty comic book for $10, but you'll totally buy a nicer copy for $20, right? With the exception of Keys, it shouldn't be this way. But now because of the artificiality of the grade, you're chasing that number. You're not chasing Super Mario Brothers. You're saying to yourself, man, I remember Super Mario Brothers when I was a kid, and I want to get it. Maybe I need one more to complete my special collection. And then you see this grade at 7. And the thing is that this should probably be a $10 book at best. And if it was in really great condition, maybe $20. But because someone bumped up the price because of, grades, and maybe 7's the new 9, right? In this situation. Let's crack this shit out. So I just find the seam. Oh, this is a little tougher, actually. I wonder what the deal is. I don't know. That's pretty easy, actually. I mean, seriously, you're breaking out a 7.0. If this wasn't, the only way you care is if this is a real important issue. Super old, falling apart. The only way it could ever stay together is with this case. You can't afford to let air touch the book because it will disintegrate. That would be a reason to have this thing slabbed. But a 7.0, I asked the customer, Spider Guy, do you want me to press these? I'll press these for you. I'll take it out and I'll press them. And he's all, no. Why you're not going to make this a 9.0. He just wants the damn thing open and he's for our entertainment. Isn't that wonderful? Way to go. Oh, damn. But wait, there's one more. All right, let me just do that. That's the worst part about this whole thing. You get these little plastic glass pieces. What superhero would you expect to fight corporate masters at CGC? I think like Squirrel Girl, right? She'd be cool. Ambush Bug, maybe. If you had to, I guess Harley Quinn. I'd give it to a Giffen character because he was all about scragging the bag back in the day. And I took that to heart because I don't have any of my Keith Giffen comics in bags and boards. Well, some things Keith Giffen worked on, right? And then there's some things that are inherently Keith Giffen. And when they're inherently Keith Giffen, they're not in bags and boards. They're just in a box. And that's kind of my special collection. I have, I think, 3 boxes of Keith Giffen. He's definitely the guy that spoke to me more often than not when it came to writing comic books. Definitely superhero stuff, and I love his art. His controversies weren't so bad that I couldn't forgive him. And that's great. I guess he was a big smoker. The day he died. So many comic book people have died recently. Well, in the last few years. But I mean, I assume it has always been that way. Dude, there was a baseball pitcher. He's 37 and he died. I forget his first name, but Mattis. I remember that's how he pronounced his name. But RIP to that dude. Crazy when, oh my God, that guy could probably still be pitching. You know what I mean? All right, let's see here. Jim likes that. Social D. I really liked Ring of Fire. I thought that was a wonderful song. I'm really impressed that they did that. Wait, was the song before that? Are you still limited to a few more streams because of Streamlabs? Oh, no, I'm doing. All right, so I'm still on StreamYard. I guess I was already in the price range, so I've got a couple more months. I guess I should look at that again. Sticky Goose said all his slabs are worthless and worth more raw now. Sticky. All these guys got really popular and a lot of views. We still truck. We still trudge along. I mean, I don't got, those 3/4 tattoo sleeves and my camera far away and a good can't even touch this thing without it going out on me. So is CGC raising their prices? Yeah. I don't know if the slabs are worthless, but the one thing that is cool about slabs is if you're buying online, there is a certain amount of protection that the thing that you're ordering is going to be there. But if you watch that video I watched by Spiegelhaus, there's a lot of people saying that there's still a lot of damage that gets done to your book because of the bags these things are in still. So these have to still be, these don't just open up, they're hermetically sealed. You know what I mean? That's who won the Oscar. And this got to get out of there. If it's not a major key, okay, here we go. If it isn't a major key, it's not a key. Exception, iconic covers. There's always an exception. I think that's for the person, of course. Then it's like any homage, right? And I'm really sick of seeing Spider-Man 300 in different formats or in different mediums. It got to the point where when companies like Scout do it, here's a rule. It has to be the issue that you homage has to have the character featured on the cover, or it has to be that title. Okay. Or I'll give it to family of titles as long as it's still the main character. So you can't do it Miles Morales. You got to do it only Peter Parker ones. So it could be Peter Parker Spectacular, Web, Marvel Team Up, Amazing, Quarterly, or whatever. I don't know. I'm sure I'm thinking of something else. Yeah, no miniseries. How's that? Sorry, Kari Andrews. Gonna have to come up with a new one. So that'd be a rule. But homages should only be that way. I don't want to see Harley Quinn doing some Batman cover anymore. I don't want to see Harley Quinn doing a miniseries cover anymore. I don't want to see her doing Superman or Wonder Woman, or she has to, if it's Batman cover, she has to be in that Batman issue, right? Okay. So there you go. That's how it should be. And as far as a major key and not a key, I agree. Or we got into this conversation about what a minor key is, and I don't really believe in minor keys. So I would say key, major key. You know what I mean? But this minor key is like, no, that's what a key is, right? And the key issue is, to me, it's a centennial issue. So 1, 25, maybe 12 even, but 25, 50, 75, 100, 125, 150, 175, 200, on and on. So centennial issues are important. But those are keys. But then you got your major keys where a villain is created, and it's not until later that it's a major key. So it's not null. It's null 15 years later, totally affecting the outcome of something to the point where you go, damn, I really want to get his first appearance. That's what a key is, right? That's when a first appearance is important. It's not the first appearance. It's the fact that something happened later that made you care enough to go back and get something that came out before you were born. That type of stuff. To me, that's what a major key is. Batmite hates paying the premium for CGC. Well, he should. I would like that. Batmite, Impossible Man, Madcap, Obnoxio the Clown. There's a whole host of these characters we could throw at them. Just no Harley Quinn. This is the no Harley Quinn, no Batman. No. Well, anyway. Spider Guy. I wonder what this does when you do that. It just says super sticker. Is it really just a boring super sticker? Or is it one of ours? Is CGC grading a total crock? Or can you say that as a retailer? Well, I don't care. I mean, you heard what I said about Rob Liefeld. Todd McFarlane. Hell, anybody at Image, except for the original founder, Robert Kirkman. Now, that's the guy. I think it is a total crock. I always thought it was a total crock. I mean, as a retailer, there are certain books that you probably should have slabbed. But you know what? I don't have this one book slabbed. And I can't believe I'm doing this. I can't believe I'm doing this. I'm going to play a video. It's just going to take a second. In fact, let's listen to Swaggle one more time.
Girl Party says business as usual, and the market will be seemingly okay with that. This is the type of brand loyalty that most companies aspire to. Leave it to us comic collectors to set the bar so high. I mean, this is true. Everyone's going to continue to go back to CGC. That's just the way that it is. This is if you have a big business or you are a retailer, what else are you going to do? And the thing is like
Yeah, what are you going to do? God damn it. Sorry, guys. Oh, it's a lemon. Oh, okay, great. That's CGC all the way. Let me tell you that this is the end of Correct Slab. Okay, but continuing Crack the Slab, I have a comic book here that I don't want to sell for less than $20,000. The floor for this comic book is $20,000. And it will be a boon to the store when this sells for $20,000. Now, it may not be $20,000 right now. But to me, this book is $20,000. And I feel like if it got slabbed, it would be a very high grade. But I might be feeling that with my heart. I'm looking at it right now and I'm seeing imperfections. But even with those imperfections, there's qualities to this book that are amazing. And it's a legitimate key, major key comic book. Just major key. It's a legitimate major key. It's not Hydro Man's first appearance, you know what I mean? It's not Madam Web. Let those go back down, okay? Those aren't them. They ain't them. Madam Web, they ain't us. This book's very important, and I'm never going to slab it. And I know as a retailer that I'm losing that $20,000 by not slabbing it, especially if it's as high a grade as I feel it is. But it doesn't matter. Comics are supposed to be touched and felt and held. And, you know, I saw Norm's Rare Guitars on Netflix, and the one thing I got from it is this. I don't need to sell, or better than that, it needs to be sold to the person that really wants it. And that person is probably going to pay that money too. And this book's only going to get hot someday. I have this giant-sized X-Men #1. See that? And in Guide, a 9.2 is like $10,000. But you know, people were saying Norm had the vision. And he knew that this book was this and this and this. I mean, guitar. And that's what I'm saying is Yule right here. Because look at that spine. I know this is hard on camera. And it's in a bag. But do you see how you can see all those words right there? You can't read them because of the blurriness. But you see how you can see them? That's pretty straight. And I know there's like a little defect here, but that's not because of reading or anything that's like printing. You just know it is. This book is sweet. There's a little bit of the staple thing going on right here where you can see them, but that's very common and shouldn't be as detracting as other things that aren't detracted for in comics. I'm sure if I sent this in right now, and I'd probably press it first, I'm sure it probably isn't going to come back 9896. But when this movie comes out, and people are buying it, and you're going to actually be able to touch this one, $20,000. Or my kooky friend Eugene has a way for everybody to buy a piece of this. And it's a very interesting idea that can only occur once we sell it for $20,000. If I'm understanding what he has, it's not in writing yet, so we got to figure this out. But stay tuned. That's why the Substack is so important. We don't bombard you with a bunch of stuff, but when we finally get around to this, we got to iron out the thing. Ooh, I mean, it's kind of like that Bart Simpson episode, you know, the Simpsons episode where they own Radioactive Man and then they start fighting with each other. Except I'm going to always hold this. And who wouldn't love to spend a lot of money for me to hold their book? I mean, a part of their book. If you agree with me that we need to get that book in the hands of someone that needs it for a lot of money, then you might want to buy in, if I understand this correctly. And I think it's really just credit. But it's a way for us all to share in the wealth in some way. And the credit can be gotten immediately, if I'm to understand. Just you won't be able to get the full credit should the money, occur. Anyway, that's if I understand it correctly. And I can't believe I talked about it just now. How embarrassing. All right, it's time for that segment we forgot to talk about last week.
Well, it was just an old run-of-the-mill Wednesday. The calendar's full of them.
That's right. So many Wednesdays. By the way, at the store, it is a second Wednesday of the month of the new year. And that means we are going to be getting street sweeping from 12:30. Let's just say 12 to like 3:30. So beware. You got to park on the correct side of the street, which is the right side of the street. Don't take my spot, please. If I can't get in, you can't get your comics. You know what I mean? God, I got a dog to bring in. I mean, how rude. All right. First up, we've got The Death of Copra, #1. It's a miniseries by Image. Jeez. It's a miniseries by Image and by Michel Fufay, who self-published most of the Copras that came out. This is kind of a hard sell, so I don't have a bunch of issues, but I really like his stuff and his style. And even if you haven't read this, do Michel a favor. He's this New York dude, and he's been writing, drawing, inking, coloring, lettering, editing this book for many, many years now, and it's finally coming to a culmination. And if you're interested, we could get you hooked up with some of the trades also. All right, next up, Fantastic Four #1. Well, I just can't stand the books these days. Definitely, it is not a 10-cent book. It's probably more like $5.99. I have one somewhere around here, but it's foil, and I don't sell those usually. Fantastic Four #1. It's by this guy, Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. The Lucky Devils #1. This is a Charles Soule book. He did 8 Billion Genies. He wrote Daredevil. He's got a novel that I have in the store. He's pretty prolific, and some of his books are quite good. They just don't really sell a ton. And I think this Lucky Devils is part of that universe that he's been creating recently. Ryan Brown is the artist, and this is the first issue. Cruel Kingdom is the sorcery edition of Oni's version of EC Comics. Get it? It's hot. Well, yeah, it's the first issue. Mark Miller, Prodigy, everybody. Oh, you know what? I think I have something to say about Mark Miller, too. So, see, I'm not just a Rob Liefeld hater. I mean, like, I can do all sorts of hate, you know what I mean? Let me see if I have that really quick. I don't think this is the one. Maybe it is. I don't think I edited it. Edited it out. You know what? You guys can handle things if I show you. Nope, that's the Rob Liefeld one. It's that there is a Mark Miller Marvel book. It's going to be Kick-Ass versus Wolverine. And I thought that was kind of lame. Mark Miller, the savior of comics, is going to come back and grace us with his slumming it over at Marvel, even though he's got this Netflix deal and used to be an Image and now is at Dark Horse, and that's just a Wolverine book. But I know customers that are going to be hot for it, so I shouldn't talk too much shit about it. Oh, Mark Miller, Jupiter's Legacy. The finale, this third issue is the finale. It's really thick. I don't read it, but, I know some of you do. Mark Miller on Nemesis? This is crazy. All coming out the same week. Nemesis number 5, Rogues Gallery. Pick it up now. What if Galactus transformed Gambit? My goodness. I have no understanding of why Galactus would choose Gambit. I mean, is he better than Terrax? Was he like hanging in Louisiana? But I know there's Gambit fans out there. He transformed the Hulk, who's been in space. But, he chose the French Quarter's Gambit. Daredevil Unleash Hell. This is a red band comic book, and you can only get it in its bag. So you know what that means. You got to buy 2 if you want to read it. No, seriously, Daredevil Unleash Hell number 1 comes out. Aquaman number 1. Why, I've read about half of this comic book. And it looks, and it is, I had it right here. There it is. Almost lost my cherry glasses. Aquaman number 1, written by Jeremy Adams with art by John Timms. Finally, John Timms is on a book. Wait, I'm talking about Aquaman here. Finally, Aquaman has an artist that's worthy of a John Timms, because Jeremy Adams is a really good writer. He's doing Green Lantern right now. And before The Flash sucked, he was doing that too. It starts off, I'm going to just read this first page. Look at this. You got a nice little caption of what this, it says, "This is not a story of Arthur Curry as a boy, a hero, a lover, or even a king. No, this is a story of the dark tide. This is a story of Arthur Curry, the God Killer." That's right. Now, this does suffer from my most hated thing the 3 weeks earlier. 1 year before. But, it's a nice little setup for anybody that doesn't read Aquaman. It's got really solid artwork. I don't know how much of it's actually inked, but I'm going to give it a pass regardless. If you've ever been Aquaman curious, you should definitely pick this one up. Let's make something that isn't Batman big. You know what I mean? Most people aren't reading his Green Lantern, and I know there's going to be a lot of Green Lantern coming through this year for DC. But let's make the fish guy a thing, at least in my store. What do you think? What do you say? What do you say? All right. Next up, we've got New Champions number 1 by Steve Fox. So I'm hot for that. There's a ton of covers. I think Rose Besh does one. And New Champions, everybody. Hey, a Batman miniseries called Dark Patterns. It's actually 12 issues long. And Hayden Sherman's doing the art. Dan Waters is writing. He does Nightwing, and it's pretty good, too. I feel like this cover has a lot of Frank Miller inspiration in it. But I don't think it's Frank Miller. All right. Geiger number 10, one of those Ghost Machine books people keep talking about by Jeff Johns and Gary Frank. Next up, we have Magic number 1 with a great J. Scott Campbell cover. And a 1 in 25 that anybody that buys an issue is going to be in a raffle situation, a wheel spin situation. More on that in a second. But yeah, Magic number 1 comes out. Bunch of covers. Wolverine number 5. It's Wolverine number 5. We've got Ultimate Black Panther number 12. I do have the main cover for this one, but only that. Sorry about the screw up in number 11. Transformers number 16. You all know about the 1 in 50 variant. We're going to be having a drawing for that real soon. I got to get that Godzilla one to you also. Uncanny X-Men number 8. This is the last of the raid of Gray Malkin. Why, it wasn't Charles Xavier behind that door. And the X-Men who were fighting against each other, there was a reason for it. So, it wasn't just those typical superhero fighting because they don't like each other or don't know each other. Or why would they do that? They do know each other and they do like each other. They were on that island together even. Well, after that got solved, we got this. And Javier Garron is on art, so it's going to look good. Gail Simone's writing it. And if you haven't been buying the X-Men issues, I got those too. Absolute Batman number 4. What? Dragotta not drawing this issue? What? You will not able to order a ton of extra ones at a cheaper price? What? This might be selling out quicker than you can believe? Better come in early, even if Dragotta's not doing the art. It's Walta. Gabriel Walta, I think his name is. He's really good also. So you should definitely check this one out. Scott Snyder on art. Probably the absolute book that people like the most. And lastly, we've got Amazing Spider-Man's number 65. I just about finished that issue just a few minutes before the show started. It's got art by Kafu, which says, why did you even put Ed McGuinness on the book if you couldn't get 3 issues, even though 2 issues were done by an entirely different team altogether anyway? That story with the Justina Ireland was actually quite good. And Gleb Melnikov did a great job on art. And I know he could have finished this whole thing. Having said that, Coffey does a great job. And this is a real fun issue. Joe Kelly's back on art, on the writing. So, makes me look forward to the new volume of Spider-Man. That are the new comics for next week. Man, bad clicking, let me tell you. All right, let's see here. Sean Franklin says, do you have X-Men comic book? Well, Sean, I do. I have lots of X-Men comic book. Now, if you're talking in my store, we have different volumes. But if we're talking about in my heart, in my house, we're going to pretend that one of these boxes over here has X-Men. Or it could be one of these. Or it could be in a secret location under my bed. There's floorboard. You don't need to know about that. And that's where the good X-Men are. Other than the one that I'm showing you here right now. But that's going to go in an even more secret location. Subscribe to our Substack to find out more about that in the future. Gosh darn it. Gosh darn it. See what that banner says that's scrolling down there. I am off work tomorrow for a first time in a bit. I'm going to go pick up comics on launch day. Wow. All right. It's fun. These What If Galactus comics are so cringe. Fucking cringe, Elithidor says. Just not really a fan of it. What If has never really been my brand anyway. Elseworlds titles usually aren't. And Wolverine fighting somebody in the Millerverse really isn't either. Now, Predator, on the other hand, he can do anything he wants against Spider-Man, and I'm going to be there. Can't wait for Aquaman, Enzo says. Yeah. It's good. I was already skipping New Champions before I knew Steve Fox was writing it. Amen. I'm not a Champions fan either. I mean, really, let's say, what is the worst comic book involving a mutant team we've ever produced? And you're going to be like, well, there's the Defenders when Angel and Beast were on it. And you're like, yeah, but you will really like that. So at least there was one person. And they're like, okay, well, you know, what about the one that Chris Claremont and John Byrne couldn't save? Oh, you mean the one with Angel and Iceman? Yes. Yes to that. Champions, new champions. Oh, it's got new in it. Let's do that. We got to renew the license. This is a reason to do it. And you know what? Since that's all we're doing, let's put Steve Fox on the book. I would love for Steve Fox to hit it out of the park, just so I could ignore it even more. Steve Fox. Why, he's the JT Kroll of today, I say. Who else can we say? JT Kroll. He's the Al Milgram of Steve Fox's. Oh, damn. That's how it goes. Yeah. So Fantastic Comics is rolling along. We're going to have some we're going to be at the Berkeley Comic Show this Saturday for a few minutes. That's just me, not we, but me. So come say hi if you're there. Soon I'm going to be doing some hey, you can raffle. I'm going to raffle off this book to you, where I have a price set. You can buy this Conan from me. This is actually going to be a Mother's Basement. Then we can do it. So we'll have provenance once I, really let you know about it. We'll have stuff. I'm trying to get rid of stuff here. So, I want to really make that happen. And I want to do that via YouTube and through the store's internet access. But also, this coming up March, we're going to have a big old sale on a Sunday featuring back issues only. And it's going to be deep discounts. And I'm going to probably be bringing boxes from home. And let me tell you, you're going to really want to know about these boxes from home because they're really good. I'm going to blow them out. So you're going to have $3 to $7 per book. And you're going to want to be able to plan for buying 50 consecutive issues. So that's going to be a real big thing that's going to be going on. And I would recommend cash for that. Let's see here. Yeah, Aquaman. That's the one, Dwayne. Aquaman's the book to pick up. I would suggest Spidey is doing pretty good. Ultimate Black Panther is still a fun book. DC's got a few books, and of course, Transformers is the big seller of the week. And I think that's it. Thank you very much for joining us, everybody. Give us a thumbs up and listen to some Social Distortion tomorrow. Take it easy.
Lucy and Ramona cruising through the jungles of L.A. Hoping to promote a dream somewhere along the way. They're rolling through the streets, looking for a disco, passing up the treats from a kid named Cisco, trying to make connections with their blemish-free complexions, and just as fate would have it, ended up with Sunset Sam. Sam was selling watches from a suitcase on a TV tray. And Lucy and Ramona kept trying to figure out if he was gay. The three of them were standing, staring at each other, when the light behind their eyes blew each other's cover. The ancient code was branded, and each of them was handed a ticket to their kingdom, 'cause they saw their brother Sunset Sam. met Sam. Lucy was from Compton, and she met Ramona at the zoo. Ramona was from Brooklyn. She left when she was 22. Sam was a native of the Arizona desert, but he split when he was slated for some governmental make-work. Their differences subsided when the common bond was sighted. They were all from the same